What's up, everyone? I'm going to try to do a quick explanation of the deck list that I posted a couple days ago where I went 4-0 with this Viktor deck at my local Nexus. I will be editing this deck just a little bit, so I'll get into that in another video, but for now I'm going to explain some of the choices that I have in the deck, why to play them, what to play around, how to play some of the strategies in different matchups, but for now we'll just dive right in. So I'm playing the one retreat specifically for the one Viktor, be able to bounce this back in case it's removed with a playing against Kaisa or just different things, and being able to use Viktor to win a fight but then bounce that back, because ideally Viktor is not being used in a battlefield, it is being used in your base, being able to generate a lot of value. So the one retreat for the one Viktor is just a really good play. There are some times that retreat gets you out of some sticky situations as well, being able to bounce back something that's just getting removed. The stupefies are really awesome for just being able to trade cards with value and being able to get around some combats, and then being able to draw cards is really crucial as well. It's also really important for the Raven Bloom, being able to Raven Bloom plus Stupefy is just a really strong combo and just gets around actually a lot of cards, especially earlier game, of course, but then being able to trade with some of the smaller threats and then being able to cull the weak, I think is just such a really powerful play. So Raven Bloom was not originally in the deck and now is, because this is a pretty spell intensive deck and it does generate a lot of value playing those. Then the Sentries and the Scouts are just really important early game, being able to have a card turn one that is not just a recruit, which, you know, worst comes to worst, you play the recruit, being able to kill these off and trade with different things, and getting a recruit from the Viktor is just really, really powerful. And then there are some cards that make it a little awkward and expensive, so being able to draw as well as being able to get an exhausted rune back is really important for this deck. So these are just pretty much like necessities and allow you to curve out really, really well. The Cull the Weak and the Hidden Blades are really important for getting rid of your bigger threats. So this deck is designed to get points at a really low value. So being able to send a recruit in after you've killed something big and then get a point is really the ideal way to earn points in this deck. You don't tend to hold a lot, and then later game or mid to late game, being able to build up your army and then swing out with a grand stratagem is very powerful. So worst comes to worst, Hidden Blade is just kill, recruit, draw 2, but it applies a lot of pressure when you hide this card, and you can just play it for the straight up 2 costs, which is really amazing. And then Cull the Weak is just really, again, really powerful to get rid of those bigger threats and being able to trade a recruit for a big threat. You don't necessarily want to play this when there are a lot of other smaller recruits or other small units on the board. So it does get a little awkward sometimes and can potentially be sided out for decks against like Aurora, things that way. The Convergent Mutations are also another sideboard card, but I think in the first game is a really cool matchup, or a really cool card tech, to be able to swing in with a recruit and then convert it to a 4 mana or a 4 might or even a 6 might like the Cruel Patron. And then I'm also currently playing the Ledros and the Harness, so being able to swap those to a 1 for a 6 is really important at reaction speed. So I've only played this a few times, but every time I felt like it really got over some things. It's also really good against the Ari matchup and then the Kaisa matchup, being able to trade something, change its might to essentially heals a unit, which is really cool, especially if they're stupefied. So really powerful card for 2. The Faithful Manufacturers just made sense for the 3-spot slot, like the Legion card sometimes was super awkward, and then the one that moves from battlefield, or when it moves it creates a recruit, just felt a little slow. So being able to set up board presence with just one card and as soon as possible just felt really good. So I'm going to keep this card as a 3 of. I just think it's really great. The one Consult the Past is literally Pot of Greed. You should not be playing this for 4, but you also can if you absolutely have to. And then it also tricks them out thinking it's a Hidden Blade, so it makes their turns really awkward. This card's really, really powerful out of 1 of so far. This is arguably one of the best cards in the entire game, honestly, but in the deck for sure. I've won so many games with Sprite Mother, and then being able to trade your Sprite and get a recruit off of Viktor has been really, really powerful. So yeah, Sprite Mother is such a good 4-drop and just a really, really good card, and I felt like I closed so many games out with it. The Cruel Patrons are just super solid, like being able to play at 4 cost and then 1 recruit for 6 mana is just really powerful. One thing to note, you cannot play this at a battlefield by killing only 1 recruit at the same battlefield. It does check to see if you can do that. So I was playing it like that thinking it was the case, but it's not. So being able to trade in with something, move something else there, and then kill that recruit is super important. But this card just really is super powerful. And 6 kind of baits out a good bit of stuff from Kaisa, and then also helps to get around bigger mites like Set and Yi. The Evangel has been a little tricky. I'm still playing around with this card. I definitely think it's like really good for the budget version. Arguably you could play just another Viktor in place of, but also if you've seen the deck list, I am playing Ledros, Harness Dragon, and Commander Ledros in the main, and I would just swap these out for Watchers. I know they're a little pricier, so these are some really great options instead, and allow for some pretty interesting plays. So that's kind of where I'm at with these. The Harness at least handles a body and is a big guy, but is very expensive for its cost. And then Ledros, kind of arguably the same thing, but it is a little bit cheaper and is really great against matchups like Yi, as well as honestly Kaisa. This is just a really solid card. I just feel like it didn't do a lot against the mirror match, as well as I would say Jinx. So it's a little bit slower, so they did get sideboarded out. Yeah. Then you got 2 Riptide Rex. I really think this card is super powerful, and I would just play 3 of if you're missing a Watcher, if you have that. And this card is just really, really awesome, and it ends up just being a body. There were so many games I came back from just having theoretically nothing, playing this, got rid of something, being able to swing in next turn, grab a battlefield, and then rebuild my board state happen more times than I could count. So this card is really, really solid, and it's super cheap money-wise right now. So I would pick up 3 of these and just play them. Grand Stratagem is literally the best card in the entire deck. This card, you just win games if you play it correctly. You typically want to wait for them to like just be tapped out or have really minimal reactions. One thing you do have to watch out for is green. They can just straight up counter the spell as well as steal the spell. So make sure that they have they've tapped out all the way to 2 mana open only. But most other decks cannot deal with this card. And if you have 4 minions on board, there's no way you don't conquer both and win the game. So this card is insane. I want to try playing around with 3 of these, but right now 2 is the perfect number for me. And then the last card in the main deck is Singularity. I really like this card, especially at a 1-of in the main deck, but overall 3 Singularities and 3 Riptide Rexes instead of kind of the awkward other cards create some consistency, and I would just, it's preference, but this doesn't create a body, so that's the main reason I'm not doing that. The one thing about the Herald, I would say, is like you genuinely want to be creating a recruit every turn you possibly can. So just do not miss those turns. It's going to be super crucial. Do not put them on a battlefield. You want them on a base. Unless you are starting with Trifarian War Camp, then you can actually play them at that battlefield, unless you're in like the RE matchup. But you want to be building up your base and then getting those low committal points, and losing 1 recruit that got 1 point doesn't feel bad at all. So also kind of touching on the rest of the arenas, I always play this first. I play the Altar to Unity second. I typically don't end up holding too often, but it does make it to where they're forced to kind of go into this space, and then you end up honestly capitalizing on their battlefield more often than they are. And then the last one is Greatest Arena, or Arena's Greatest. So the games go a little long and they can stretch out, so this at least speeds up game 3, and you just really want to like try to play super aggressive typically, depending on the matchup. But yeah, ends up winning against Yi and Aurora. So and then the sideboard, I would tweak a little bit, but right now you've got your creatures. I would play 3 Shen if I could, and this is really great for the matchups like Yi, as well as even just needing more bodies against Kaisa and Ari. And then, these would be more for Kaisa, bringing in more bodies instead of spells that you would bring in toward Yi, as well as Set, but those bigger guys that you need to just kill off with Decrees, and then the other Singularities. I would just play 2 more Shen, and then I'm going to swap out some of these cards for Salvage, so look for my next deck list. I'm also debating on tweaking the mana a little bit. I think I'm just going to cut down 1 yellow and go back to 6 and 6. I just think it's a little aggressive, and then I am looking to pick up an Altar to Unity because there is a lot of yellow cost cards. So I'm going to be tweaking the list a little bit and playing around with some stuff this week at my Nexus Nights. If there's any specific questions you have about the deck, please comment below. There were a few of you asking specifically about this deck, and I will tag you in this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to be submitting the next deck list, but this is a great option for budget Viktor. Thank you. Bye.